Congrats, you are getting views and visits to your Etsy listings. That means you've probably figured out SEO, you probably have decent main photos, you're probably in some good niches that allow you to be found, but something is holding you back from getting sales. And Etsy's whole goal is to make sales. If you are driving a lot of traffic, but for some reason you are not converting, Etsy is actually going to rank you lower because you are not converting for them. In fact, you might be driving people through some deceptive tactics. Maybe your photo is a little deceiving. Maybe your pricing is deceiving. Something is telling your buyer, which then tells Etsy that this is not something that is going to sell, which again will rank you lower in the search algorithm. But let's set some context first for what is an actual good conversion rate with Etsy. Conversion rate on Etsy is calculated by the percentage of visits that turn into sales. So to calculate that, it would be sales divided by the number of visits times 100, and that would give you your conversion rate. And a good conversion rate on Etsy would be around 1 to 3%. Of course, this conversion rate is going to fluctuate a lot depending on the time of the year, especially like my conversion rate is so much higher for Christmas versus on my slower months. But as an average, it should be between 1 and 3%. If you have higher, fantastic, even better news. But if you are lower, then I do suggest you listen to this video and start implementing some tactics to kick up that conversion rate. Number one, are you using deceptive pricing strategies? And what I mean here is, when you go on Etsy and you see a shirt is selling for $5, everyone will come up to me and tell me, oh, I can't do print on demand because I can't compete with someone selling their shirt for $5. Well, that person is not selling their shirt for $5. Once you actually add it to your cart, they add a ton of shipping. And usually that $5 listing is like the digital download version, but to actually buy it on a t-shirt, it's like $20. So finally, when you get this to your cart, when you get this to checkout, it's like 6 times higher than the listing price from the sales page. For this reason, I really like to offer free shipping in my store. But if you are someone where maybe that is not plausible, then do a shipping price that makes sense. You can't be charging double the price than your listed product in shipping. That is going to cause a whole bunch of people to jump ship before they purchase because they clicked in expecting to buy something at $10 and now it is $20, which may bring this out of range. And some people just don't appreciate this type of pricing on Etsy. The second thing that I would check is checking the options that a customer has with your listing. There is a thing that is real called decision fatigue, and having way too many options can cause people to quickly become fatigued with trying to decide what to order from you that they give up. You've probably experienced this with Netflix. Sometimes there are too many options. You just sit there for an hour trying to decide what to watch till you finally decide you don't want a movie anyway. Versus if you are in the mood for a movie and you only had 3 or 5 options, then you are likely to quickly pick something and not double think it. So for this reason, I don't offer all the colors available to my customers. They don't need to pick between 5 different shades of blue. Instead, I stick to maximum 5 to 7 different color options for my purchasers to buy. And I've even heard people on Etsy recommending even just offering 1 color option, though personally I prefer to have a few just in case one is out of stock, but that can be up to you. But I would take a look and see just how much decisions does someone have to make when they are looking at your listing if they are thinking of purchasing from you. And with that, I would recommend having a picture of each of these options, which is now possible because you have majorly limited your options. People are probably not going to purchase the option that has no photo. In fact, most of the time, my purchasers purchase the option that was in the main photo because the main photo is the reason they clicked into that listing. It's the first one they saw from the sales page. So they're not even bothering looking at the rest of those, and they're probably just going to purchase that first one anyway. So again, offering all these options is just too overwhelming. And then that leads into my next point. If people are usually purchasing that picture that is in the first photo, but when they click in, it's actually not an option or it's sold out, they will probably leave your listing. What they clicked in to find is not there anymore, which can quickly cause them to go back and check out your competitors. The next thing I would check is to make sure that your customers have all of the information that they need to make their decision then and there. If a customer needs to send you a question to figure out maybe what size they need, what material is used, then they now have this window between when they asked you until whenever you answer to check out your competitors and make a different decision. So you need to make sure that all the information is in your listing so they can discover it right away before they have time to look at other products. You should have a size guide. You should have a care guide. Anything relevant to the product that you're selling that a person might need to know should be available to them right there. A good sign that you need more information on your listing is if you are constantly getting the same question from a few customers. I had this issue early on where I actually wasn't labeling the colors on my listing. So people were messaging me asking, hey, what is the color on the third photo? And so from there, I realized I need to put more information, and I started putting the name of the color in the bottom of all of my mock-up photos for every Etsy listing so that there was no more confusion. A sizing guide is probably one of the most important things, especially if you sell apparel. If you sell jewelry, that also needs to have the sizing, the lengths available to them. If you're selling wall art, anything that has multiple options needs to be labeled to minimize any confusion. The next thing to check are your processing and delivery times, because these affect when your customer is actually going to get their product in their hand. And a lot of the time, people are purchasing from Etsy for a gift, and they're not shopping 6 months in advance. So if they go into your listing and it says up to 3 months to be delivered is the delivery window, then they are probably not going to purchase from you. So find a way to quicken up your processing time and to quicken up your delivery time. If you are using a supplier, make sure you are finding a supplier with a decent delivery time to where your main market is. And then my last little point is not so much something you need to look out for, but it is some advice. And that's to be running sales often and quickly. And what I mean by that is you should be running sales 10%, 15%, whatever makes sense for you and your business model, and to run them for maximum a few days. I run them to about like 2 to 4 days, and I turn these on all the time. And why? Because when a sale is coming close to the end, your shoppers are going to see a banner saying this sale ends in 24 hours, it ends in 2 hours, which sparks urgency to purchase from you. I always get a boost of sales on the last day of that sale. So if you are waiting to do a sale and you are letting it run for 30 days, you're not gonna get quite the same amount of benefits. It's still always helpful to run a sale, but doing them shorter and more often is going to be more beneficial to your store. I'd also like to add a quick little disclaimer here, because if you are just a new store, a lot of this might not apply. Your conversion rate could be lower just because you don't have any reviews and you don't have any sales. People are very hesitant to be the first purchaser for something because there is no social proof that it's actually decent or that you're an actual good seller. Maybe you're scamming them and you're actually not going to send their product. So this is more for shops that have a lot of data to work with, have probably already started making sales. And if you are just starting, I would recommend asking your friends and family to purchase from you to get those initial sales and reviews, so you can start getting accurate data, because people are trusting your store, and now it's on your listing to sell them. And for the rest of you who are not in this boat and have detected probably with this video where they are missing out on sales, then I urgently recommend going and implementing some of these strategies into your store to kick up that conversion rate, which in turn will kick up your Etsy ranking. And it'll just be this big cycle of you get a new sale, you rank higher, you get a new sale, you rank higher, your conversion rate keeps going up, and ta-da, now you have some bestsellers. Thanks, guys.